What's up, YouTube fans? Today I'm going to be reviewing this DX9 carry, their version of a Rodimus Prime. This is a pretty old figure. This came out at least, I think, 2 years ago at this point. Really awesome figure. The problem was I wasn't willing to pay the price. It was around, I think, $170 retail when it first came out. And I waited, and then the price shot up, and it was really almost impossible to find, especially on eBay. All the retailers were out of it. And then they had a reissue of this guy, and a lot of the retailers ended up reissuing it was the same price, I think either $160 or $170. And I still didn't buy it just because, I wasn't sure if it was quite worth that. So I waited again, and eventually my eBay guy got this. And I bought this for $130, so really good deal. It's 40 or 30 or 40 bucks off the retail price. So here's the box. Oh, by the way, I bought a brand new, really nice box. All the DX9 boxes are pretty cool. It also comes with a really cool poster. I'll show you that in a minute. So nice image on the front, and you got kind of a cool image with a sword on the side here. It's not really doesn't really look like the figure, but. And then you got some line art on the back, and then it's not just about living forever. The trick is living with yourself forever. I don't know. They get these interesting quotes, and that's that. And then they got the same thing on the other side. On the bottom, you got Carrie, Light, Our Darkest Hour, which of course was from the Transformers movie. That's really it. So nice packaging. It's good quality. Protects the figure for sure. And then it comes in, the classic plastic tray. Now this is, again, 2 years old at this point, so plastic tray. I've already taken it out, so I'm not going to go over that. And then you also get the collector's card and the instruction manual here. So here's the instruction manual, just a fold-out thing. I do like their collector's card instruction manuals. They're nice and colored and detailed, and it looks good. And this one's not bad. And it's got a cool drawing. And then you've got this poster, which is actually really, really cool. I don't know why I haven't hung it up yet. Just beautiful. Their version of Galvatron, their, what was it called? Tyrant? DX9 Tyrant, I think. That came with a poster like this. And it's just really, really nice art. Beautiful art. I should probably put these posters up somewhere. Here you have DX9's carry in robot mode. First impressions of this guy, it really is awesome. Now, I usually, when I do my reviews, I like to show you my first impression. I already opened this guy, and I already, kind of played with him. And I generally don't do that, but because this is an older figure, I figured, the sense of urgency for getting this review out is not very high, so I waited. And now I'm kind of we're in a lull in terms of releases. I'm waiting for, actually it's DX9. I'm waiting for DX9's version of Breakdown? No. Their next Menasor figure. I have Crack Up, which is a version of Breakdown. And I'm waiting for, Wild Rider. So their version of Wild Rider is next. So that's going to be the next review. Unless Fans Toys comes out with their stuff first. I'm waiting for Fans Toys Cyclonus and then their version of Hot Rod. So this is actually kind of a timely review because I'm gonna, hopefully get that Fans Toys Hot Rod and review that too. But I think that's coming out way later this year. So anyway, here's this figure. Really just impressive presence from this thing. It's big. It's a big guy. Let's get some other figures in for comparison. Alright, so here he is with Takara Tomi's version of Hot Rod. And it's kind of interesting to see these guys together. They're really kind of different. Let's just bring his glasses off for a second so we can see his face, because we kind of want to compare. Forgot that feature. They should have put that on this guy. Oh, actually, he didn't have those goggles. Anyway, so looking at them together, I love this representation of Rodimus Prime. I like the black over the gray. I can't remember if this is cartoon accurate. Let's put an image of hot rod, G1 hot rod up here in corner, and see how this guy looks next to him. But I think this just seems like a good transition, you know, from Autobot to Autobot leader in terms of size. Now here he is next to MP10, Masterpiece Optimus Prime, and they're pretty much the exact same size. Yeah, this has always been a problem with this guy. His ankles are kind of weak. That's been a problem from the get-go. I am excited about their new version of Optimus. Now let's take a quick measurement here. So he comes to about almost exactly 9 inches to the top of his head, and 10.5 inches. Wow, he's huge, to the top of his wings here. And then Optimus, to the top of his ears, 9.5, or to the top of his head is 9.25. So they are almost the same size, at least to the top of the head. And that makes sense, right? They're both leaders, and they both were about the same size in the cartoon. I mean, it's tough to judge. Depends what frame you get, what frame you look at. Also, let's take a quick weight here just for comparison sake. So DX9's carry comes in at 12 and a quarter ounces. Just for comparison, here's Masterpiece Optimus. Now he's got his guns and stuff with him, so that's probably adding to the weight, but he's 15.5 ounces. And just for another comparison, here's Takara Tomi's hot rod. That's 4 ounces. So obviously way heavier. He's got die cast in him. And actually, I wonder how much this weighs. That's probably another ounce. So that's going to bring him to, with his weapon, if you're being fair, about 13, you know, just under 14 ounces. So good weight in this guy. You know, he's got some nice die cast in the feet and in a couple other areas. Not a lot, but where it counts, which I think the feet is the right place. So let's just get this guy off for now and just take a quick look at these two together. Now I haven't put the Autobot symbol on there. Now I have to do that next because I'm definitely keeping this guy. I like it a lot. One of the problems with this figure is this gun, and I've actually come up with a fix that I think is going to work. You know, I'm going to put basically a clear straw on the bottom of this to, you know, and I'll cut it, you know, so it's a tiny bit longer, and that will actually make it fit pretty tight in the hand. And maybe I'll even cover that in this review and see if I can do that for you guys. But that straw, the problem is this handle is too short. So it holds it, but it's very loose, and it just doesn't go in deep enough. And because of this back part, and if you have it actually, you know, transformed the way they do it in the instructions, it doesn't fit at all. You know, it's just not designed properly. You know, it's supposed to be like this with kind of like what do you call it? Oh my gosh, my gun guys. My friend Todd is gonna kind of question me on this one. Oh, stock. The stock. So with the stock in place, you can't even get this in his arm. You know, all you could do is maybe put the arm straight out, and then it just looks retarded. You know, the whole point of the stock is to get some stability so you can hold the gun or the rifle and, you know, shoot it. So with that, you know, in place, you can't really use it. Now you can actually fold it a little bit more and get it out of the way, and then it kind of works. And the best configuration I've sort of come up with is something like this. And, you know, I mean, it doesn't look great, but it's okay. That's basically the look I'm going for. And the best I've found you can do with this guy is get this other arm like that, and then have it kind of holding right here. And that's about the best you can get. It really just doesn't hold this thing properly. I wish it had a short mode, like half of the gun kind of could be used for like a little pistol versus a rifle, but it doesn't work. I also wish I could get the Takara Tomy version of his blaster, which actually fits in his hands perfectly, but it's impossible to find on eBay, on Shapeways. I've looked everywhere for it. You just can't buy it. So I'm pretty much stuck with this unless I somehow randomly come across that Takara Tomy version of the weapon. So this is kind of a letdown, but this guy, even on his own, is pretty impressive. So let's go over this guy and kind of some of the features and stuff that he does. We'll just move this out of the way for now. So articulation-wise, he's got a lot. So head goes down up to there, which he's a tall figure, so he should have a lot of down. Up, you can kind of cheat and get him off that joint, but that obviously didn't look right. So you can kind of get it up to there, and then if you want more, you sort of have to cheat. And then obviously it turns all the way around, no problem. It's a really cool effect here. They've got a different shade of red, kind of like a matte, I don't even know what to call it, salmon or pinkish color. It's here, here, and here. And then they've got another, there's so much paint on this. They've got this gray paint here, and then the orange and the yellow paint here. And then the plastic itself is this darker red color. And then, gray kind of mixed in. So it's awesome the way they mixed the colors in the paint with this guy. And I think that's what, puts him a level above this. While this is cartoon accurate, it's just missing something. It just doesn't have, I don't know, something not quite right about it. Especially the color of these, something doesn't pop. But the colors on this really pop and really stand out on your shelf. You can't miss this guy. So that's the head. The arms, they do have a joint right here, and it kind of gets hindered there, but you can sort of turn it and get all the way up there. It does rotate all the way around, but it's hindered by this. But, you're not really going to do anything there. One thing that I don't really like is the elbow only goes 90 degrees, and it gets hindered. Actually, it doesn't even go 90 degrees. It kind of gets stuck. And it does rotate. There's a rotation of the elbow, but that's all you can get. So you can't get, you don't have a double jointed elbow, which prevents you from getting his gun sort of upwards. So if you wanted him holding it like this, upwards, you can't really do that. So that's a little bummer with this guy, is they could have used a little more articulation on that. You do have a waist rotation, and it's nice and tight. All the joints on this guy are nice and tight. There's nothing loose. Everything is like, well toleranced. You do have a bend here, and I love the way that looks, because when it's just in the standard pose, it looks like he's got a hip skirt, but then when you rotate it up, it moves out of the way. So it looks really cool. It rotates all the way back, all the way forward. It's just hindered by this, but you get plenty of movement. Ratchet to the outside, nice strong ratchet. You get a soft ratcheted knee, a little past 90 degrees. Rotation at the hip, no rotation at the knee. And then you do have a nice ankle rocker all the way out and a toe tilt. You get more this way, really, not that much this way. And then there's a heel spur that kind of helps him balance and stay standing. And it's very stable. This guy's not going anywhere. He's not falling. He's not going to take a shelf dive. The backpack is pretty big, but you're not really going to look at it from there. You're not going to look at it from the side like this. But it does look good. I like the way this looks. The wings are just so cool. The fact that the roof of the vehicle mode turns into this wing, it's just such a cool effect. And we'll go over, I'll show you that when we get to vehicle mode, his Winnebago mode. But this just looks really cool, even though it's a big, chunky thing. I don't really mind it. And there's not really much you can do with this. You could have it folded up like that, but that makes the backpack even bigger if you wanted to get it out of the way. Or you can have it kind of tucked up like that. I think that's the best configuration and the least amount of junk on the trunk. But this guy, he's very dynamic because of his ankle articulation and pretty much all the movement he can do. The problem is he doesn't have a weapon, or it's very hard to pose him with his weapon. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do a quick little tutorial on how to get this handle a little bit longer, which will help him hold it. So we're going to go get some tools, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we're back. So I've got some tools here. This is pretty simple. You just need a knife or scissors, probably is better, and then a straw. Now, clear is probably the best choice here. I don't have a clear straw right now, so I just grab one of these. Doesn't matter. You're not really going to see it. I mean, you can see it a little bit, but the best choice probably is a clear straw, just so you don't see a lot of stuff. And you want to cut off, a little piece. So what I did was, close this hand, put the straw in, and then put it down to the bottom of his hand, like that. And then kind of pinch it right here, and that's where you got to cut it. And then just take a scissors and cut that. All right, that's all you need to do. And so I did that. Here's the piece of straw that I cut off, and all you got to do is stick that on this here. And it's loose on this, so it doesn't get stuck on the gun. But when you put it in the hand and you close it around it, it gets tight. So it's nice and tight. So the problem with this hand is it's just not long enough. But now with the straw, it's long enough, so you can hold it. And now you can do some, kind of cool stuff with this. You can have him sort of holding it downwards, and you couldn't really do that because it would fall out of his hand. So you got a lot more flexibility, and you can also just do the regular, rifle kind of action here. And I do wish he came with a different gun, but that's what you get. So you gotta deal with what you get. There you go. So there's a pose with the straw. So that's really it, guys, for robot mode. Definitely like this guy so far, and a nice upgrade from this guy. I think one of the problems with this one was his legs. They're just so weird looking. It's not. What's the word? He's just disproportionate in his body. This guy's got pretty nice proportions. His arms and legs seem the right length. These just seem kind of odd. Especially his arms are just really weird. So I'm excited to get Fans Toys version of this. I might actually sell this guy. I don't know. It's one of those. It would probably be the first time ever that I keep a third-party toy over the official. Actually, this guy is third-party, and I like this better than the official Masterpiece Hot Rod from Takara Tomy, because that was just a piece of junk. It fell apart on people. Anyway, so that's it, guys. We're going to get this guy transformed into vehicle mode, his Winnebago, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we're back from transforming. It's a very, very fun transformation. I just have to say that right up front. Really intuitive, really easy. I didn't even use the instructions on the way back. I used it once to get to robot mode, and then I just sort of, wriggled my way through until I got here, and it's very fun, very easy. I love the way it looks. It's just such a classic. It actually is almost the same size as the original G1 Rodimus Prime from the 1980s. Now here he is with the Masterpiece Hot Rod. So basically this guy turns into this guy. Now, honestly, it's not out of the realm of possibility to accept that this turned into this. I will say the cab is a little small. This front piece I feel like should have been a little bigger. Probably at least the length of this. I mean, it's close. It's just a little off. But in terms of looks, it just really, it's a great looking figure. Great looking vehicle mode. I feel like the size is okay. In terms of height, he looks like bigger than a car. He's taller, he's longer, he's wider, other than the actual wing. And I transformed this guy too, and I forgot that he has like a millimeter of clearance underneath this orange thing here, so you got to get it exactly right. But this guy rolls great. And it's got nice rubber tires. That's one thing that Takara doesn't do. It's got plastic tires. Nice rubber tires. They are a little wonky, but it rolls just fine. Now, this is where things get a little off. Here's Optimus Prime, and this is, a tractor trailer cab, and this is a Winnebago. I think it's okay. I mean, it's close enough for me. It does look a little small. I would say this is probably on the small end, the small side of what I prefer. I think I prefer it a tiny bit bigger, but honestly, it's not that far off. So lengthwise, this is just about 7.5 inches long, little under 3 inches, maybe 2 7/8 inches tall. So, and wide, the widest point is 3.5. So, I would say it's good enough for me. I don't plan to get another Masterpiece Rodimus unless Takara goes for a version 2, which I don't know if they're going to go for that, because this guy's pretty good. It's solid chunk, it doesn't come apart. He's just very well made figure. I'm really happy with the quality of this thing. This is probably my only gripe, is next to Optimus Prime, he's supposed to be a Prime. He's supposed to be a leader, and he's a little small. But I don't mind, because it's unlikely I'll keep him in this form. Now, he does have his gun here. You want to take off the little straw if you used that piece earlier. And you basically, put this back into its full rifle mode, because now it can actually fit. You don't need the straw. It just fits right on the top of the vehicle. It looks pretty ridiculous like that. I don't know. It's not the best. You can kind of fold it down maybe to get it to look a little better. But overall, it's not bad. I'm happy. Now we need to actually take a look at this guy. So this guy transforms too. We'll just do it really quick. So you take off this front piece here. You take off these wings on the side, and then you unpeg the arms right there. And then you unpeg right here, this bottom of the foot. And so you should have something looking like this. It's a very symmetrical kind of figure. And then you can kind of unpeg right here, these two arms peg together, and that sort of opens up the whole thing. So you push this together to have that right there. This is his arms. He doesn't really have hands, he just got holes at the end of the pegs there. And then you fold this up. Turn that around, fold this up, turn that around, and here's your guy. And then to complete his look, you're going to take these and peg it into his back. I think you want it so he kind of looks like Rodimus Prime a little bit. And it's a cool looking little character. He actually is a lot better in his robot mode than he is in, and then he holds this gun, but again, it's almost like they engineered the same problem into this guy that they did with this guy. He can't hold his gun. If you straighten out his arm, he can hold it. But if you bend his arm, you can't fit it. So that's just stupid. I don't know why they did that. But anyway, you can kind of put this in his hand here and then put his arm down. And that looks okay. It's not great. But this guy is really posable. The only fallback is the head. The head does not have any articulation whatsoever. It's just kind of locked in place, I think. Yeah. But he does have translucent eyes, translucent blue. He's got the two little wing pieces, kind of like Hot Rod or Rodimus Prime. His arm joint goes all the way up to there. It folds all the way out to there. It's got a ball joint for an elbow. You get a 90-degree bend. You also get rotation all the way around. Nothing at the wrist. You don't have a waist articulation, but you got full articulation for the hip joint all the way out, all the way back, all the way forward. And then you do have a tiny bit of articulation here, but that's not really meant to articulate. But if you needed to, you could get a little bit of toe tilt. But I don't see any need really for that. It's a little guy. Head articulation is what's missing. But next to this guy, it's kind of cool. You can sort of ride on top or whatever. or you can just have them pegged in on top. But this is a nice little addition in terms of the robot. I'm not a big fan of the gun just because of the fact that it doesn't peg into his hand. You could use the straw fix. I'm planning to keep this guy in robot mode, so he's not going to stay this way. But I do like this little guy. It looks cool. So that's really it, guys, for oh, actually, you know what, we didn't get to show this guy next to his G1 image, so let's put that up in the corner there. See how he looks. You know, he's definitely going to need an Autobot symbol right here, but I think it's pretty darn good, especially this right here. I love the way this is embossed into the plastic. You know, it's not a sticker. There's no stickers on here. Everything's paint or embossed right in. Plenty of paint on this guy. There's no shortage of paint. I think it looks really, really good. Even on the back here, you know, got some paint on the back. This does actually open up, but there's nothing in there. You know, it's just a empty cab. You could probably put this guy in here, so you could hide him away. But that's not really meant for anything. It's just the nature of the transformation allows you to do that. And this guy it just pegs in together very solidly. Everything tabs and fits and locks in place, and it becomes a nice solid chunk, so you're not worrying about anything. So that's it, guys. I definitely recommend this guy if you don't already have him. He got reissued just recently in the last month or two. I would pick him up. I got him for $130. You can find him on eBay now for, actually I just saw him for $120, which kind of pissed me off because I could have bought it for $120, but whatever. Definitely worth $130. Even for the retail price of $170. It's getting up there. I think that's a little too pricey. I'm willing to pay $120 for this guy, especially since he's not new anymore. But he is the best Rodimus Prime we have out there, and he does come with this guy. So high recommend for me. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and we will see you next time.